What's going on, everybody? So 2 videos in one day. If you notice that I'm wearing the same stuff in a future video. A lot of you guys been wondering what happened to my CRX with the B series turbo, the CSS motor. I really thought I had released a video of what had happened to the car, and I've only driven the car for about 3 months, and then it became my personal vape box. So I had about 1,200 miles, drove it to Fontana, which is about 6 hours from me, and 6 hours back with no problems. One day I took it to work, and then getting out of work, the car just started smoking out the catch can, you know, ridiculously. Enjoying my hot pocket at the moment. So I did a compression test. The compression was 230, 240, 250, 250, 4, 3, 2, 1. It didn't lead me to believe that the block was done, or whatever the case was, but I did a compression test. It looked good across the board. It wasn't super low in any of the cylinders. The clips here that I'm going to show you was the day that it happened, where I did a compression test and sticking a Borescope down the cylinders to see the carnage or whatever was going on inside the cylinders. All that smoke. So, as you can see, that is a ton of fucking smoke coming out of the tailpipe and the catch can of my car. This is the car I'm talking about. So, if you guys follow me on Instagram, Facebook, I recently just taken this car this past weekend down to Southern California to IBOC, and that was 836 miles that I drove this beastin' ass car. It went there and it came home just fine, other than the baby hiccup, broken radiator and blown hose. Aside from those two, the car was fixed within a matter of minutes, and the car drove beautifully there and back. But I decided to take it to work yesterday. Today's Thursday. I took it to work yesterday, and I decided to do a pull before getting to work. So I did a pull, 1, 2, 3, 4, and as soon as I turned into the parking lot, the car was like smoking the whole parking lot. It was like literally a sideshow, except it was coming out my tailpipe. So yeah, it was that bad. Driving home 20 miles from work, I was literally causing a trail of smoke coming from my car. Like if you had a drone or, you know, whatever, and zoomed out into the sky, you could probably trace my tracks from work to my house, because it was that bad. That's the comparison I'm going to give you. It's really that it's that bad. So I'm going to do a compression test, because I really don't know what's going on with the car. It still drives cherry. Only on acceleration, if I'm at idle, only on acceleration it'll smoke really, really bad. So the way I was driving home was I did 80 with a cloud of smoke, clutch it, let it coast into 65, accelerated again to 80, all the way home about 20 miles. So I am going to be doing a compression test, and I can only do a compression test because that's the only tool I have. I don't have a leak down tester, but only a compression tester, and I can, you know, like I can screw this in the hose side into the cylinder and put a compressor hose from my compressor into that line and air the system on TDC on like low PSI. I don't want to go over 100 PSI, because that'll start blowing out seals. That's one way to do a leak down test. You know, check your whatever. We're not doing leak down test, we're doing compression test. So I want to see what the compression in the cylinders are. The car is cold, obviously, because I have not driven it since the vape session the car has been doing yesterday. So it's not warm. Maybe I'll warm it up I'm gonna search online if I should be doing this cold or hot. I know all the motors that come from, like, say, HMO or you know, engine distributor or importer, they obviously test their compression cold. I might just do it cold. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it cold, and I might do a wet test, but I'm just gonna do it dry because wet is only going to increase it by plus or minus 10 psi. So if it has good readings off the board as dry, I'm not gonna do wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and further diagnose this fucking issue, because I'm not a vapor. The car should not be a vapor either. So, all right. So I've watched the video on YouTube. Eric, the car guy, he did a compression test on I think it was an Integra. He disconnected the distributor. I've already done so. Do not pull from the harness. Pull from the plug, so that way you don't mistakenly pull these pins out of the plug. He mentioned something about throttle all the way down. That'll trigger the TPS to send to computer that it's fully wide open throttle, that the computer will sense flooding in fuel. I don't know what the fuck he said, but for my safety, I'm just gonna disconnect the injector clips from the injector so they don't fire. No spark, no fuel. And I am going to be doing this one spark plug at a time. I'm going to keep the other ones in there. Install the tester one cylinder at a time. Reichers. Spark plug's a little wet. I don't know. Looks kind of funky. The phone doesn't focus. It's pretty whack. It's an iPhone 7, but whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to be doing this, like I said, one at a time. I'm going to do it dry. Okay, I got my OEM compression tester gauge set. Right, looks like this. Fanciness. This is what I was talking about. You can put this to the cylinder, put the compressor end into it with like maybe 50, 70, 80 psi, no more than 100. Anything over 100, you're going to start blowing shit out. And I can use this as a leak down tester without a gauge, but I'm not going to do that today. Do a compression test. Make sure your O-ring is good, because if it's not sealing, air compression is going to leak out, obviously. Mine's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first one, show you the reading, and then I'm going to fast forward the rest of it and show you the final readings of all four. Get yourself a like a board to write down your readings. So I'm just going to use this submit box because I got a ton of them everywhere in the garage. Cylinder 1, 2, 3, quattro. Okay, I'm going to do dry. I'm just going to put W for wet in case I do a wet. Wet is when you dab a couple drips of oil into the cylinder to coat the top of the piston, and then do a wet compression test. Nice and snugged in there. I'm gonna put the gauge right here where I can see through the windshield, and watch the gauge crank it until it stops. Eric, the car guy, said once you start the initial crank, you count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The cycle, you can hear the revolutions in the engine cranking. And throttle down. On my gauge, I am reading 230 psi in cylinder number 1. Air that out. Record it. Cylinder number 1. 230. Okay. So now I'm going to reinstall that spark plug back to cylinder 1. Repeat steps 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to report back with the numbers. I'm just realizing now that I wrote on the cardboard cylinder from left to right is 1, 2, 3, 4, when I'm doing the compression test from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Such a rookie. Okay, so did the compression test. Results: cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're reading at 230, 240, 250, and 250. Not sure why those are a lot lower than those two. And being that these are 10.5 to 1 compression pistons, stock head, stock valves, those are some pretty good numbers. I just cannot explain these two right here. The car still turns on, runs cherry, sounds normal, but it just smokes really crazy. Now the leak down tester will kind of really pinpoint where all of the smoke is coming from. Except I don't have a leak down tester, so I can't further diagnose into it. I might just hook up the the leak down tester right there. If cylinders 2 and 3 has some type of shit I don't know about, maybe they're parting in there or something. Those are the readings. My friends told me to pull off the exhaust manifold, see if there's any oil leaks in it, and if there's no oil leaks in it, then valve seals. If there's oil leaks, I don't know. I gotta reread the text. I don't remember. I really hope it's just something simple, because I spent a lot of money into this motor. It only has like 1,500 miles in it, and this smoking, it just blows my mind. Blows a lot of smoke, so it kind of makes sense, right? But that's the current situation right now. Fucking smoke show. Fucking vape, my own personal vape box, without even having a vape, it just does it. But I'm gonna hook the injectors back up real quick, turn it on, let you hear it. It sounds normal. A lot of people were telling me that it may be my turbo. No shaft play, no side to side, no in and out. Spins really freely. It's a journal bearing. No leaks whatsoever from the turbo. They were telling me that I have a restrictor, or don't use a restrictor, or need a restrictor. I've been running this turbo for 4 years. No problems whatsoever. Okay? Same line, same fitting, same everything. This has never changed. So I'm gonna rule that out from causing this shit to be a vape box, because if it was really bad, it'd show a lot of signs at the turbo, but nothing is pointed in that direction. Snow White, are you doing car shit today? No? Straight up cold start. So, I know I ended the video earlier. I didn't catch that. Okay, probably caught that one. I know I ended the video earlier, right? So I'm sitting here for like an hour now since the closing of the last clip. But I just realized I have this fucking Milwaukee fucking Borescope, right? So, you know, with exchanging texts and shit with my friends, and he was like, I'm pretty sure the fucking bore is the cylinder walls are like scored or scored, or it's fucked up, right? So I'm gonna stick this motherfucker down the hole. Hopefully she don't scream. And see what I can find in this little screen. Oh, this shit fucking rhyme, bro. I don't know if you can see it. I can't distinguish between reflection or not, but you see all those lines right there on the walls? This is cylinder 1 with 230 compression compared to all the other 250s. Cylinder 1. So this is a little Borescope I have. You see it? Tell me what you think. What it ended up being was valve seals in cylinder 3, and it was leaking so bad that it was consistently smoking, or at least that's what it led me to believe, because I did every test I could. The block didn't seem to be the culprit. There are light scoring, but they're barely fingernail catching. Shouldn't be scoring at all, but I threw WD-40 inside the cylinders, gauged them all, and 2 days I went back to gauge it again. None of the WD-40 had seeped past the ring, so I know the rings are not at fault for the most part. But later, down that week, I did further inspections, and it led me to believe the valve seals were bad. Now, the head valve seals has been changed in 2012, and it's seen a lot of boost pressures, a lot of abuse over the years, up until this point where cylinder 3, I don't know if I have a picture of it, but cylinder 3 was completely black, as if the seal was just continuously leaking into the cylinders. And if you guys are wondering, the motor is still here. It's just sitting here waiting for a new cylinder head. So before, diagnosing that the head may have been the issue, I parted ways with my cylinder head, my B16 head, which had dual valve springs and retainers. I sold the ITR cam separately, $250. The head was $300 with Dizzy and VTEC solenoid valve cover. The Victor X I sold for $200 polished. I kept the auto body pure rail. This bin right here, this box, this tote, has all the other B series stuff that was taken off the head before I sold it. So I sold the head. I was going to sell the tranny, the twin disc, the block, and all that, but checks out the block is good, so I held on to it. I ended up picking up this cylinder head right here. I don't know if you guys ever really paid attention to my other videos. This is a port and polish GSR head. Port and polish GSR head. The head is mine. The turbo kit is not. That's my OCSS motor. And then I have a GT35R that I'm going to upgrade when the motor comes back. Skunk 2 box I bought on the 4th of July sale from Skunk 2. Pro 1 cams, gears, Skunk 2 components and stuff like that. All I really need left is all the stuff from Hondas, like the cam cap bolts, the neck, Victor X manifold, dual springs and retainers, and valves. And then the cylinder head could be put right back on here with the GT35R E85. I am planning for 600 horsepower. I don't know when that's going to happen. That's not going to happen anytime soon, because that's something that requires a job which I currently don't have to finish. So yeah, for those that were asking me about what happened to my motor, that's the current situation with it. I'm hoping to bring it back for the 2018 season. Still looking for that 10-second goal. It's only a matter of time, but I promise you guys, it will come back and debut again. So yeah, I hope you guys now have an understanding what happened to the car. I ended up throwing a stock motor in the CRX, and now I'm in the process of turboing that shit too. So yeah, just a little quick updates for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next awesome stuff I got going on.